Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and in this video I'm going to present what I believe is currently the strongest budget deck in Hearthstone, and that's Spell Druid. Before the third Demon Hunter nerf, I think Demon Hunter was the strongest budget deck, but hey, Demon Hunter got its cheap cards nerfed 3 times, so now it's still a great deck, but it's top tier only when it has the expensive cards. It's still playable on a budget, you can check out my budget Demon Hunter video, but this has now overtaken it, and basically playing this, it doesn't even feel like you're playing a budget deck. It just feels really, really strong. So what Spell Druid does, Spell Druid ramps up its mana, then it builds some boards, makes those boards sticky with possibly the Soul of the Forest, and then it goes face with Savage Roar and boom, that's game. The board building tools in the deck are the Glowfly Swarms, which is an epic card. It's the only epic card in the deck, but you have to have it in order to play this archetype. Then there's a Forest Shade, and then there's a pair of exotic Mount Sellers. And exotic Mount Sellers and cheap spells, you can just build a big board of beasts. So very, very explosive deck when it really gets to it. I've updated my budget build. My original budget build was from April and it still worked fine in May as well. But for June climb I updated this a little bit. I took out the Kael'thas package. Kael'thas is just a little bit slow for the current meta. And I added in a Wild Growth and a Claw. So Claw so that you can contest Demon Hunters a little bit better, have a little bit more early defenses. And Wild Growth so that you have a little bit more ramp, because there are a lot of Druids around, and in Druid mirrors the one who gets on the board first is often the winner. So by having a little bit more ramp available, you get to your Glowfly Swarm a little bit more consistently early on, and you have a bigger chance to win those Druid mirrors. Especially because this deck doesn't have Ysera Unleashed, because it's a budget deck, so you can't really go for that late game and those Dragon Portals. You just have to be the first one to build the board in order to win the mirror. As for the mulligans with this deck, you're mainly looking for 3 cards. Fungal Fortunes for more card draw, Overgrowth for ramp, can also be a Wild Growth is also good for ramp, and Glowfly Swarm to build the board. If you're up against a Demon Hunter, and only in the Demon Hunter matchup, you want to keep some kind of early removal tool. It can be Claw or it can be Crystal Power, but you need some sort of early removal tool, just so that you can contest some of those Demon Hunter boards. Against everything else, it's just the card draw, the ramp, the Glowfly Swarm, just to get on the board and ramp up and do your thing. As for upgrades to the deck, there is one main card that you want if you want to upgrade the deck, and that is Ysera Unleashed. Ysera Unleashed is just phenomenal in this archetype. You can play that, you can even Ironbark that to make a 5/15 taunt. You get those portals in the deck and then you start drawing those portals, get the dragon board. Just a great card to have. There are 2 ways in which you can make use of Ysera Unleashed. One of them is to keep the deck a Spell Druid deck, so that you don't add any other dragons. Then you want to add stuff like Rising Winds from Galagon's Awakening Adventure, so that you can have more card draw, so that synergizes well with the portals. And the other approach is to add a little bit more dragon synergies into the deck, and this list that is featured here is my current favorite, this sort of dragon Spell Druid list. But I prefer this over a pure Spell Druid at the moment. This is Virus list, and it adds Ysera Unleashed, a couple of Emerald Explorers, and a couple of Breath of Dreams for some ramp ability. So it doesn't require the adventure, and the only expensive card that you need to add is Ysera Unleashed. I thought about making a budget version that would also be a Dragon Spell Druid, but that didn't work out well enough, because just the Emerald Explorers, and then you kind of need some more dragons, but what dragons? There are no other good cheap dragons. There's like Onyxia would be something that you could also use potentially, but that's also a legendary card, so that one didn't work out. So you want to stay with the pure spell side if you don't have Ysera. And if you have Ysera, then you can choose between the pure spell list, then you want to add Rising Winds, or this sort of dragon list. Even as a full cost deck, it's still fairly affordable and extremely powerful in the current metagame. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get notifications when new videos come. And now, let's go take a look at the best budget deck in action. We hold on to the ramp. Let's see what happens next. Alright, have Fungal Fortunes, have Crystal Power.
They will never catch me.
What's there not to like? So far so good. Do I want to coin Fungal Fortunes? Do I want to coin and innervate a Wild Growth? Then I will have 3 mana next turn, so I can play Fungal Fortunes and the Crystal Power. No, I guess this is fine. Let's just go with this for now.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Some sidekick action, but that's only 1 attack minion. And there's no way for the Demon Hunter to buff the attack of the minion. Okay. Fine. 7 cards in hand. Let's play Fungal Fortunes here. See what I can pick up. So far I have not been able to pick up any cards that generate boards. But we'll see, there is still some more time. I have some cards that can answer various cards that the Demon Hunter can play. I was generating a fairly wide board. Is that a problem? I could coin Overgrowth. Then I'll have 6 mana next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that one. Instead of the Wild Growth, I will coin the Overgrowth. I will go to 6 mana for next turn. I can use Wraths to dig for a board to play on 7. And then on 7 I have the Innovates. So that if I can find a Mount Cellar, I will be able to generate a very big board. Or if I top deck a Glowfly Swarm now. I guess if the first Wrath gives me a... If the first Wrath gives me a Glowfly Swarm, then I could innervate that one too. Or this can happen. Then I could just play the Glowfly Swarm. I'd ask the Demon Hunter whether he happens to have an Altruis out there. I have the ability to play Crystal Power. Against 7 power on board, that is not necessary. I don't have a health buff. So we're going to go with this. Altruis and Slices would be needed. Ah, but there is the Altruis. And there is the Slice. Okay. Well, that very specific draw is able to do things. So now it seems possible for me to lose this. But we'll see. I also cannot find another card that would generate a board. Do I need to overflow? No, I don't think overflow is the answer here, but I probably need to heal the Crystal Power. So that means I will need to kill the Altruis with a Wrath. I probably need to do some digging with this Wrath. And then I will need to hero power down one of these. And then I will need to use the Crystal Power to heal up. I suppose this is what needs to be done here. So I'm at 12. Demon Hunter has 4 on board, but he also has 4 cards in hand, so presumably more things will happen. And with that, meaning that he can do 5 damage with 1 mana next turn. And then he has another 3 here, so that's already 8, 9 damage. That should always result in a win for the Demon Hunter. Because I cannot generate a board and heal. No, such an option is not available. Nope, it is not. 8 cards in hand. Let's see, I will need to try to overflow here, of course. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't really have stuff that I can Iron Bark easily. 6, 7, 8, and 9 damage already from those. I'll have to summon a Panther and give that taunt. 3. But I'm most likely going to be dead here. It's unlikely for me to find an answer. I had the option to bog beam one of these, but if I bog beam one of these, then I would not be able to do even a half decent mount seller turn. So, with that very specific set of cards, the Demon Hunter is able to prevail. I mean, Altruis has always been the key card in this matchup. If Demon Hunter has the Altruis, and usually it has to be Altruis and Slice, then the Demon Hunter can be fast enough to win. I'm keeping the Glowfly Swarm, obviously. Let's see what else I can find. I find some ramp. That's excellent. Oh, and I find a Fungal Fortunes. That's even better. The deck needs more threats. No, it does not. The deck definitely has sufficient number of threats. I have not lost a single game because I don't have threats. That's not what's happening at all. Alright, 8 cards in hand. Splendid. Next turn is going to be Coin Overgrowth, isn't it?
A cruel fate awaits you in the
I
ashes.
believe it is. I will still have sufficient numbers of spells in hand to go for the Glowfly Swarm next turn. That's guaranteed at least 5 Glowflies, potentially more.
In the shadows.
Ah, I want to draw some cards, alright.
A cruel fate awaits you in the ashes. Who in their right mind hides loot?
Alright, we're going to do a Glowfly Swarm. Let's get some 2/2s on this board. They cannot be flicked yet. But of course next turn. Next turn there could be some flicking also. Rock kept a couple of cards, so I expect some backstab action or something of the sort to arrive here. Next turn he could flick something. So we'll see how this one's going to go. Let's trade most of these away. Rogue with the board. Well, well. I have the Soul of the Forest, but I don't think Soul of the Forest does a whole lot here. He could or could not have. I mean, that card could be a flick. Would be a bit of a bummer to Glowfly Swarm and then get it flicked. I'm gonna get 6 Glowflies. Do I just remove the biggest threats? Well, he can't really play a Heist Baron anyway. So suppose I will just remove the biggest threats here. This one and this one. And play another Glowfly Swarm. And then hero power down the Faceless Lucky, I suppose. No reason to use the Iron Block here. Let's see about this board and his answer to this one. There's the flick. He already used one Shadow Step. Does he have another Shadow Step? Is a big question. Another Shadow Step for that flick could be a big deal. I have the option to go with Mount Seller, but I can only do Mount Seller, Iron Bark, Worthy Expedition. I can't generate a lot of beasts here. I could potentially do more next turn if I Overgrowth now. Can't really Overflow now. An interesting turn. That wasn't a kept card, by the way. He had actually managed to draw that. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. I think this is an Overgrowth. I'll hero power down to Lackey now, because now he would have time to potentially go for a Heist Baron. But now he doesn't have any lackeys. He also doesn't have any lackeys in hand, so there's no way for him to do a heist Baron turn here.
Your feeble magic.
An evasive dragonite that was randomly generated can be a powerful tool, of course. But now it's time to go with the Mount Seller. Let's see what the Mount Seller can provide. And a worthy expedition. Maybe a Keeper of the Grove can be useful in this matchup. Do I want to taunt up the Mount Seller? It's a little bit awkward now with the evasive dragonite here. But I guess it might be necessary. I think I also want to taunt up that one. And this one, well, again, the evasive dragonite is really doing some work here. But we'll leave it at this and see what happens next. He could have a Shadow Step for the flick, but I already saw one Shadow Step, so that is relatively unlikely, but it's possible. Shadow Stepping flick would mean that he would flick the Mount Seller, obviously, because he wants to... No, actually that wouldn't mean... because he already saw that I lost one Mount Seller already. Now there's no reason for him to do anything to the Mount Seller. Other than kill it now, of course. But we'll see. Alright, he gets to draw his Galagrond. Galagrond has been invoked. Not a whole lot. Ah, an excellent lucky pick. That lucky pick means that he gets to do some things. Even his dragon lived. Alright, can I kill him? I have just 10 on the board. So no, it doesn't look like I can kill him. Well, what I can do is I can do Soul of the Forest, I can do Keeper to kill this. I can check if I can find something with the expedition. Let's check that one out. Ancient of War is a little bit interesting. Maybe it's just a Starfall. And the Keeper is going to deal 2 damage to his dragon. And I'm going to Soul of the Forest these minions so that they are more difficult to get rid of. Then I hit him in the face a few times. Let's try this. Rogue's at 9 mana, he has the Galagrond in hand, but the Galagrond has been invoked only once, and we win that one. I think we take this hand. I can claw down something if I really need to, and then I have a Glowfly Swarm coming. Mount Seller comes in a little bit slow. We'll see how that works out. Well, Demon Hunter, what sort of hunting are you doing today? Nothing special. Alright, that's cool. I like that. Alright, still nothing too special. I still like that. I also do like Autumnal Fortunes. I'm contemplating innervating the Glowfly Swarm. Then the Demon Hunt... but now I kind of have to kill the Satyr, right?
Hey, I got you, friend.
It's an enhanced Satyr. Not just your regular Satyr.
We're with you.
But does he also have an Altruis? This is interesting. Because there is like Innervate Glowfly Swarm for 6 Glowflies, most of which he can kill, and he can also generate another Illidary Satyr, but he can't play the Warglaives yet. So I think Innervate Innervate Glowfly Swarm is correct here. Let's make those 6 Glowflies. Unless he has Altruis and Slices, because 4 mana. He needs exactly Altruis and Slice in order to handle this cleanly. If he can't handle this cleanly, there's also the option that I just use these Glowflies to fight, gain the board, or at least tie the board, and after that I just play another Glowfly Swarm.
We're with you.
So some trading has to happen, otherwise he risks dying to Power of the Wild Savage Roar. No more trading is mandatory. He could go face with the rest. Yeah, he can count. And that looks pretty sweet. There's also a chance that he has found Altruis to handle stuff later on. But I mean, this just looks like another Glowfly Swarm to me. Alternatives. I could see what I can get with Fungal Fortunes. I think I'll just trade and play another one. Let's trade away as much of this board as I can. Play another Glowfly Swarm. So then he again needs to have the Altruis. Now I know that there are no kept cards left, so if there's an Altruis it has to be a drawn card. There is an Altruis. Then he also needs to have a Slice. Ah, this time he did have Altruis and Slice.
They will never catch me.
Okay, well, that does put me in a more difficult position, obviously. 8 cards in hand. Time to play Fungal Fortunes. See what I can pick up with that. More overflows. Well, there is an Iron Bark. Iron Bark is good. Because next turn I will have no extra mana. So what I really need to do is I want to draw another card. Because I want to see if I can pick up an Innervate here. Will I need Crystal Power to heal?
Time waits for no one.
That is also possible. I'll just use that Wrath to kill Altruis. I'll give this a try. But now, obviously being down to 12 health, I mean I can make an Exotic Mount Seller with Taunt next turn. But whether that's going to be enough is another matter. Down to 9. Then it's the Exotic Mount Seller.
I supply only the finest creatures.
And the Bok Beam over there. If I taunt up this one, it's really easy for him to hit Druid with the Warglaves. I already saw a Slice. Let's say he has 4 attack. I think I'll Iron Bark this one. That should take him the most effort to go through. It can be done with the Warglaive, but it should be fairly expensive.
Hide behind your circles. I will still find you.
This is not lethal, and that would be a major problem for him. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think this is going to work out at all. Because now what I can do is I can simply trade away the Cane. So no more Cane. How? Then I'm able to Crystal Power to heal my face. And then I can afford to burn some cards. I don't want those cards anyway. So I can play Overflow to heal up the Mount Seller and heal my face. I'll lose some cards, but I didn't like those cards anyway.
My hand is too full.
Well, now I have the option to Bog Beam into one of my own minions in order to generate a minion and save a card. There are 2 Savage Roars in the deck. So I think Bog Beam one of my own minions here is correct to generate more threats. And now the Demon Hunter is, I believe, at a dead end. Cane has been spent. Both eye beams have been spent. Well, he can actually smack his way through that, but there just isn't enough damage left. He's doing an honorable. I thought he was going to kill himself by hitting into this one, but okay. Very well. Keep the fungal fortunes. Patriarch too strong. Yeah, Silverback Patriarch. It is a magnificent creature, by the way. Not in Hearthstone, but in real life. There is one in the Gives Good Zoo nearby. I've seen a Silverback Patriarch, and it is truly a powerful creature. Alright, let's Fungal Fortunes. Give good cards, don't give bad cards. Mediocre cards. Fine. No ramp, no Mount Seller. It's less than ideal. What is this Warlock deck? It's not a Quest Warlock. It could be a Galagrant Warlock. There are some Galagrant Warlocks around. It could be some kind of zoo as well, although this seems unlikely. I don't exactly have a lot of stuff that I can do this turn. I mean, I could have used Power of the Wild to make a 3/2 minion. I wasn't quite ready to that. Now we might see something of the... Okay, it is a Galagrant Warlock. So Plague of Flames is a card that they run. Ah, an Overgrowth. Yes, mind if I do. I do enjoy ramping. Ramping is good fun. Ah, it's the lackey version. So there is Tekan in that deck. He can turn his lackeys into 4/4 minions. So this could become a 4/4 next turn if Tekan is played from hand. So good at that. So there's some interesting things going on here. I guess I could Innervate Forest Sade on this board. Then I would probably want to Bog Beam one of these lackeys, because there could be a Tekan play coming. The alternative is to just keep drawing, but I think this is probably the play. Let's get the Forest Sade out there, and I'll preemptively Bog Beam one of the lackeys. Don't Ironbark one of the Treants. Maybe I do. I think it's okay, using one Ironbark here. I will probably want to Forest Sade again next turn. The deck probably has the dragons, so those can of course come out. And they did. I think I'll just make another board with these. See what happens next.
I will act as your scale.
He doesn't have any reason to Plague of Flames yet. The board simply isn't intimidating enough for him to do that. Oh, but this is so interesting now. If I do Power of the Wild, be 3 trees. I'm a little bit reluctant to use a Savage Roar here. I don't really want to find the Soul of the Forest, I think, for that Glowfly Swarm, for this matchup. But if I do Savage Roar, Wrath that for 1, 5 mana. Let's see what this one gives me. Ooh, it gives me a Starfall. Then I don't have to Savage Roar. Then I can simply Starfall here. I'm gonna Wrath for 3. Trade that away to just hit face with this. Obviously the deck has the Plague of Flames left. And what I would really want to do is find a Soul of the Forest to play with the Glowfly Swarm, because that should lock the deck out of the game quite effectively. Six cards in hand. I can do Overflow now. It's okay. Do I want to use an Iron Bark? I mean, I have the Mount Sellers left too. I'd like to have something to use with those. There is a Fiendish Rites that can activate the egg. This just now it's just an Overflow. And there's the Soul of the Forest. That will be used next turn. This turn I'm just throwing a little bit of Wrath over there. Trading that one away. And I will take those trades as well. I believe this is an acceptable state. Then we get to play Glowfly Swarm into Soul of the Forest. Which should be very difficult for this deck to handle.
Bones of the Fallen. Perfect.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I have lots of spells. It'll cost 9 mana. It's really the numbers that I want to get down, because that will make Plague of Flames more difficult to use. I'm going to trade there. I'm going to trade there. I'm going to play the Glowfly Swarm. I'm going to play the Soul of the Forest. And I'm going to deal 2 damage to that one. So, in order to handle this, this is really difficult for him to handle, isn't it? There are Plagues of Flames in the deck. There is another Crazed Netherwing in the deck. Like, how do you even handle this with the Dark Skies? You just don't.
Yes, I will destroy them.
And then if you don't have, like, clearing those 2 boards. If he had a white board because he has Plague of Flames, that would have meant that he could like Plague of Flames the first one and then maybe Dragon the second. Something like that could have been possible. But a board as wide as this, then that's why I limited the number of minions rather than try to take out the biggest minion. And that just put him at a completely impossible position. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.